What's up, wrestling fans? Welcome to episode number 488 of the podcast for this week, it feels like, of the Hot Tags edition of the Smark Moment Smack Talk podcast. More specifically, I am your host, as always, Tony Mango. Joining me is Robert DeFelice.
Hey, Tony, we're reunited. I feel like I haven't seen you in forever because I'm so used to seeing you every day. And I feel like these days have been so long.
They have been. I don't know how many times during this week I've thought to myself, oh, it's, Friday. And then I'm like, oh, wait, it's Tuesday morning. And then I'll be like, oh, later on in the day, I'm like, oh, well, now it's Friday. I'm like, oh, wait, it's still Tuesday or something. And the two biggest days are coming up. So, and then we got Monday and Tuesday. My eyes are already kind of like, I've had my left eye twitching for about a week and a half or so. So that's happening.
So it wasn't until yesterday when I was covering, I'll spoil this because I won't be able to say much about NXT. Everything but NXT, I have not seen a takeover yet, that I was just like, wow, this is a lot to watch and look at and just absorb.
Well, I can spoil this for you. Not many licks happening on TakeOver either night. So
I did see that there was a chain involved.
There was a chain and some terrible music.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that I will admit that I made sure to go over to Peacock and look. And I don't want to bog this down with too much of a rant, but Peacock, you're terrible. Moving on.
Well, I'm sure in 3 to 5 minutes when the feed catches up, they'll go, hey,
yeah,
everything's fine. Well, we are going to run down actually not as many hot tags as I assumed that we would, but still some hot tags. We're going to talk about the NXT UK title. We're going to talk about some other Peacock stuff. We're going to talk about the Hall of Fame and our thoughts on that. So we invite you to do the same. Of course, as always, we want to know what you have to say about these different things. So go ahead and hop on over to the YouTube channel while you're over here listening to us. If you're not listening to us there already, of course, and if you are, then, scroll down a little bit. That's how it works. And tell us what your thoughts are by dropping a comment below. And while you're over there on the YouTube channel, hit the like button because that goes a long way. Hit the share button if you got anybody who you think who else would want to listen to this. There's also the applause button if you want to do the tip jar essentially and kind of buy us a cup of coffee. I don't drink coffee, but I drink hot chocolate. That's good.
And I also drink hot chocolate as opposed to coffee. Buy us
so much better.
Hot chocolate.
It's so much better. There's this place up in New York that they give you this giant marshmallow square that's bigger than like the actual cup.
Is it Dylan's candy shop?
No idea. It's like, that's that thing. Oh, I'll eat it. That's as far as I went. But there's also the join button, and that's the same thing as the Patreon. And if you're tired of hearing me say it, well, then a good way to shut me up is to donate to the Patreon. But even $1 a month is something that'll help us out a lot. It's not only just a morale boost, but it's also something that does help grow the channel and the website, because the more people that support us through the Patreon, the less time that I have to dedicate to elsewhere, and I can put into Smark Out Moment. So then if you want to hear more podcasts and you want to see better quality of all the different things and you want more stuff on the website and you want a better website, because this website doesn't look the way that I want it to look. I'll put it that way.
But it still looks better than many other websites with bigger budgets. So
that's kind of true. And this is a one-man operation when it comes to that. Imagine what I could do if I could pay somebody who knows what the hell they're doing. So keep that in mind, everybody. But, there's the dark casts that are the $10 and up tier, at least for right now. The more people that subscribe and follow and do everything like that, and the more people that head up the Patreon for the $5 tier, the more I will just put that on the $5 one. I have done that for a couple in the past here and there, so I'm not a man of my word, otherwise known as I am a man of my word. Double negatives. I'm an English teacher, right? But the Pick Your Poison tier is another thing. We recently did something on that, and anytime that anybody takes advantage of that, we will do it. That's kind of the point. So patreon.com/smarkoutmoment. $1 a month is a bargain. You don't even have to justify it in the sense of a coupon like with the Peacock thing, because that's $2.50 a month and plus tax and everything. So keep that in mind. Also, another way that you guys can help us out on everything is to just, follow the Facebook and Twitter and to do everything with all the social media stuff. If we're tweeting something out, you want to retweet it, that's awesome too. Another way on top of that that you should be aware of some things going on is this is actually something that me try to give back to you guys in response to what support you've got. We've got 3 contests going on right now. And yeah, I know it seems like we're going heavy on the plugs right now, which sorry, but we got to get the plugs out of the way. Not many people know about it still here and there. So if you don't, we have an NWO t-shirt that is up for grabs. We have an Edge Funko Pop, and we have over on the Fanboys Anonymous side of things, a Baron Zemo Funko Pop. So go to those things on the sidebar, and you've got plenty of different ways that you can log in and have lots of entries to win. I'm pretty sure that there's like an unlimited amount of times that you can enter. So if you want to make sure that you get that Edge Funko Pop or something, then you can take advantage of all those different options that are there. And if you don't know, of course, what the Baron Zemo side of things is, that's over on fanboysanonymous.com. If you check out fanboysanonymous.com, you'll see that that is our geek culture website where we take care of all the stuff like the movie reviews and discussions about superheroes, like our most recent Mount Rushmore of the Batman villains. And then we've got audio commentary tracks, some of them that have already happened, some of them coming up in the future, like Mortal Kombat in a couple weeks. 2 weeks, I think, is when it comes out.
What
So
week? I think it's like a week from today.
23rd, I think, is when it's
I keep
coming out.
thinking it's the 16th. I don't know
They
why.
pushed it. They pushed it back. It was 16th originally, but
Christ.
that is happening soon, and that is in the same kind of realm where if you want to show more support and you want more fanboys content, then follow, subscribe, do that same kind of stuff. Hit that like button on everything, and hit up the Patreon for that as well. So that is some of the plugs, and we will move on and come back to them a little bit later. Outside of one more real quick, vote on the Spark Madness tournament. WrestleMania versus SummerSlam. What is the best pay-per-view name of all time?
Has a Smark Madness tournament ever been better? Like, has it ever broken down better than this?
I don't think it's had a better final two. Yeah.
The final four were the big four. You can't go wrong. I mean, like, really, you can't go wrong.
Yeah, I am a big fan of that, and I want to know what everybody has to say. So right now there's some votes locked in, and you've got a chance to vote up until at some point next week. We will break it down. I'm not entirely sure when, so vote while you can. Let's get into some of this stuff. We got a couple things. Let's talk Peacock, because why not? One
Awful.
thing being
Awful
that
service.
I've tweeted out, I've had my gripes already with the fact that every single show so far with Peacock has started late for me, where I have to keep refreshing it, and they're always somewhere between 2 to 5 minutes behind another feed, so that's not good. Which means that, again, if you don't want to be spoiled for any kind of match outcomes at WrestleMania, don't go on Twitter at all. Because if you do, 2 minutes in the past, somebody who's watching on the WWE network will be like, oh, so and so won. And you're going to know, and then you'll have to wait 2 minutes for the finish. That is a
Right.
big difference maker, and I'm not a fan of that. But at least there's one thing that may be not even a positive, because it's not like a real positive. It's just getting back to what they had before. Supposedly, that live pause and rewind and fast forward function is supposed to be up for tomorrow.
Oh, good.
I
You mean
don't I don't buy into it. I don't think it's happening, but maybe that is. And again, I want to kind of specify that's a good thing, but that's not like, oh, that's such a good thing. Here's a pat on the back. Because that's something that we had before. So all it means is we're on less of the negatives, not that we're in the positives. You know what I mean? It's kind of like
it's
it's the
like you're in credit card debt
yeah, it's
and you paid
gambler's
off one
mentality.
card, but you still have three more.
Right. Gambler's mentality is when you bet $100 and you lose it, and then you bet another 50 and you win 25. You didn't win $25. You lost 125. So that's how that kind of works. But other people look at it that way and they go, oh, see, look at that. Peacock's doing good. No, that's not how it works.
So I had the unfortunate epiphany last night as I was tasked with Impact for one website, the Indies for another. I said, I want to watch Takeover, damn it. I'll watch it on my TV. And that was the day that I learned that even Samsung TV does not have a Peacock app.
Mm-hmm. I've been
I
watching all the Peacock stuff just on a Chrome tab.
dude, where do you like? No, that's so ridiculous.
Now, to be fair, I've like pretty much always used my computer instead of my TV. Well, it's kind of my TV is the second monitor for anybody who doesn't know. I don't know why you wouldn't need to know, but whatever. So my setup is usually I just drag the tab over and I just watch it that way because it's easier instead of going through the app because the app's usually a little bit uh, wonky. But it's 10 times worse with the Peacock thing through Xfinity because Xfinity, every button on Xfinity lags. And I can click on like in the amount of time that I should be able to click on the Xfinity button and like the arrow twice and then down button and try to open up an episode of Young Rock, I have to wait like an extra 40 seconds, it seems. Just because each thing is like, oh, you pressed the right button. Okay, hold on there. Okay, and to the right. And then you're like, okay, now go down. So I don't bother with that at all because it's just not worth it. If I've got that hooked up with the HDMI cable, it's just easier to use the computer. But you don't have that hooked up, and a lot of people don't, and that's kind of why they have a TV because they want to use it as a TV. And yeah, not good for that. Also, not good for the foreign commentary teams.
Well, yeah. I mean,
For
I don't
anybody who
know,
doesn't
man.
know why I said that, it's because every foreign commentary team in WWE has been let go except for the Spanish announcers. So if you're
Also,
Rojo or you're, Sean Deng,
Mengai.
like,
Yeah, I mean, like that was a whole
Funaki.
bit. That was a whole bit. I doubt Funaki seriously got let go. He's like an ambassador for Japan and stuff.
I
But
mean, not on the commentary anymore.
that was a whole bit.
Well, they do the roll call of all the.
Right, and then Corey would go, "Yeah, Michael, last night I took Mengai to a strip club and it got crazy."
Right, yeah. So that sucks. It's another Peacock wants to get rid of a couple things that they consider to be not, I guess, up to like PC culture, but also the foreign commentary team. What?
It sucks. It really, I don't know, man. This move, I tried to be optimistic. I was like, oh yeah, but okay, so we get the whole network and there's more content because you'll have like Saturday Night Live at your disposal, so you can watch like the good years, like the Chris Farley and all that stuff. But of course, they've ruined it and it's becoming a whole big thing. They took off a Goldust segment. I don't know if you knew this, but they
Yeah,
took
the one with Booker T.
what? Oh, my Booker T. I was talking about something else.
Oh, isn't one of the ones with Booker T?
No, it was from '97.
Maybe they took off two then. I don't know. I thought I had seen something that there was like a Booker T and Goldust segment that was taken down or something. Maybe I'm
So
misinterpreting it. I don't know.
in the Goldust segment, at least the one that I read, it's he's building towards Survivor Series '97, and if you don't know, he had his face was painted black, and it said "F USA" because he was on Team USA, but he was also saying "F you" to people because he was a bit of a heel at that point, and I think they took it down because he was black. He was in black face paint, not like he was in blackface like the
Hmm.
DX Nation skit.
They just
Like he was
assumed
black.
that blackface paint meant blackface.
Perhaps I don't know. Like I don't get it.
I don't know. I mean, we've talked about the Peacock thing before. It seems like that's following a lot of the same kind of trends that we were expecting. At least maybe that live pause thing is going to be up for tomorrow. If it isn't, you're going to hear it as one of the negatives tomorrow night because that should have been there from the very beginning. There's no streaming service at this point. There's no excuse for it. Everybody needs to have the live pause function. I can get it if you don't want to have, say, the exact like amount, like maybe when you rewind, how it used to be on the network. I think it was like every 10 seconds if you did the rewind button. Maybe you want to have it set for every 30 seconds instead, which I think is more annoying. Or maybe you want to have the ability for people to do the super fast forward type of thing, like we have on, some like Xfinity type. I don't know if Spectrum and the other ones have it too, but there's that like different levels of fast forwarding. you just hit the button a couple more times and it could be like 3
Right.
times speed, 4 times speed. Then you can eventually do like the lightning speed or whatever it is, where you just basically zip through an entire episode. And I don't understand why anybody would ever use it. There's also the
Yep.
things on some of them where if you wait a long enough time, they know when they can do the smart things with the commercials and you can skip through it and then it just automatically goes to when the show starts. Maybe you don't want to have that. Maybe you want to try to force people to not speed through as quickly, but you need to be able to pause it at least because I mean, even watching Takeover, there were a couple times where I was just like, "Oh, well, I didn't see that. Up, I guess I'm not going to see it."
Yeah, I don't know. Right now I'm not feeling the Peacock. Hopefully they add everything and there's not much taken away. Like just dumb stuff. Like I personally love watching Saturday Night Main Event. Nobody else does. I know that. But like I'll just put on 1988 Saturday Night Main Event and go to just so like I can watch something before passing out. It's it's not right that I have to start over after having all this shit available to me for 7 years. But I don't want to bog this down with complaining and moaning and groaning. It's just something that got to me.
Oh, by the way, also, if you have like an Xfinity thing, like so many people do, where you get Peacock for free with your subscription, you don't get that coupon. They charge you the extra deal. So, like, I spent the extra little bit of a difference to get the ad-free version. Had to pay the extra difference. No, $2.50, just $6 or whatever. So that's annoying. But that's the thing. We will talk more about that tomorrow night. See what happens, if anything's better or worse with Peacock. I'm kind of assuming that it's going to be even more problematic because more people will be watching, but
Yeah, I expected to just crash and burn.
yep.
Because that happened while I was watching. I think I was watching Takeover for the brief period of time that I had Takeover on. It was like, nope, sorry, it's crashed. I was like, oh my God. All I wanted to do was see the entrances and hear Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole's new theme songs. Didn't like them. I think they need some work,
Yeah.
but we'll see.
They need work in the sense that they need to be completely replaced by new songs that are better.
You know what? Actually, Kyle's is fine. Adam Cole's needs at the very least, Def Rebel or CFO Dollar Sign or whomever. It needs something where they go boom, because like that's totally a built-in thing to Adam Cole's entrance, and it's needed.
So let's talk about the NXT UK Championship. This was an interesting story. I don't remember many months ago it was. I don't remember for sure. The NXT UK title that Walter has was stolen. And now we got an end to that story. It seems like when these things happen, the end of it is kind of interesting. I mean, we had that whole thing with Jericho and the AEW title, but this time around, a fan had bought the title, not knowing that it was the stolen title. And when he realized that that's what it was, he shipped it back to WWE. And in return, they gave him a signed replica. A bunch of people signed it, which I think is
That's
pretty cool.
cool. What I like about this was, first of all, Sean Ross Sapp, my boss, asked Shawn Michaels and Triple H about this on the media call, and that turned into Shawn Michaels being like, "Believe it or not, I've never had a title stolen." And I think that that's crazy that I never lost a belt. And then, of course, Triple H was like, yeah, Flair was losing them every other week. And I thought that was a fun little thing. It's crazy to me that these things even happen. There should be like a mandatory carrying case for these belts that isn't just like your gym bag.
Yeah.
That's just me.
I mean, I would also think that it would be easier for the production crew to just keep carrying them around. I know that if I'm remembering correctly, they have one championship with them all the time, and then they, like the individuals, carry around the other championship, and they've got like the working belt, and then there's the belt that's for like TV and everything. But even still, I would think it would just be easier to keep it on that because
Yeah, does
unless
every
you're
individual keep their working belt?
Well, the only thing I could see them keeping that for is if they're going to like media stuff, because then they can have the championship around their shoulder or whatever. But even then, I don't know, just like give it to them before they do it.
Like, I know Mick Foley tells a great story about the WWE because remember when everybody was butthurt over the Universal title looking exactly like the WWE title but red,
Hmm.
and Foley told a story about how the title he won in '99 stunk to high hell because it just had mildew from all the beer bath that Austin would give it, and I'm like, who keeps that belt? Like, where's that belt in particular? You know?
Yeah, because if I were somebody who won a championship, I would want to buy that from WWE. You know, how people get like the replica belts and they hang it up in their like trophy room or whatever. I'd be
Yeah.
like, can I just buy this one and you can make
Yeah,
a new belt? You know, like
yeah, like I would want my belt too.
right. Even if it stunk to high hell, because I would just I don't know bathe it or whatever you would need to do.
Right, like it's sentimental. It's yours.
Yeah, that's the belt you held up when you won that championship. Like I would want that one. I wouldn't want just give me one that looks just like it. Kind of. I mean, I would, but at the same time, it would be like give me no choice.
Right.
So that's cool though that the title went back, and I thought it was funny the guy's post on I think it was TikTok that he was like, I found out that this was the championship. So what did I do? Well, I posed with it because yeah, I'm the champion now, like that kind of thing. I'm like, uh,
Which, yeah, of
that's I
course.
mean, yeah, you got to take some pictures and kind of be like, look at this, I'm actually holding the real one. I'm the champion. All right, now I'll send it back, kind of thing.
You know who couldn't steal the belt?
Yo,
Neither Tommaso Ciampa or
yeah,
Rampage Brown.
yeah, they both failed.
They both failed.
One thing I am happy about though with this Peacock thing is that NXT UK gets uploaded in its entirety, so it does make it easier. That's the one positive so far with Peacock with that. That way I could just go, oh, okay, well that's I don't need to watch
Yep.
that segment.
Boom, boom. Oh, okay. Io Valkyrie did this. Okay. Walter won. Great. Cool. Moving on.
Yeah, I quite literally this week I had planned on making NXT UK Prelude this live coverage thing. I was going to do this full breakdown. I was going to do potentially a post show. And I'm like, nope, it's regular episode. So I'm not going to bother doing with that. And for the coverage side of things, I skipped to the end of every match, typed it out, then said, all right, now I'm going to watch it. Because now I got it up ahead of time. And that was easier. I wish I could do that
Yep.
for 205 Live. I wish I could do that for practically every show.
Yep.
Actually, I'd rather not be doing the live coverage, period. That'd be even better. But, different story for a different day.
Soon.
Well, when I just flat out give up.
Well, either that or um they just cancel the show. I'm still waiting on that one.
So let's talk about the TV show stuff because there's really nothing else that I thought we could talk about. Everything else is pretty much like, hey, Mania's coming up, and all right, yeah, we'll talk about it on Mania. But we've got TV content that we can break down here outside of NXT because that was pay per view and we already did that, and outside of NXT UK Prelude because we already talked about that too. There wasn't anything to talk about for that one either. It's like number one contender in a tag team match, and the guy retained his belt. All right, moving on. But
Yep.
there's the Monday Night Raw episode. There is the SmackDown episode that we just got done with, and there's AEW, and there's the Hall of Fame, which I think is worth talking about as well. So maybe we'll save for the Hall of Fame for last, and we'll talk about. I have nothing to say for Dark or Dark Elevation.
And I have there's very little to say for Dynamite even. The coolest thing is May 5th they're doing Blood and Guts and
I
they're
had
doing
I had two notes for Dynamite.
Blood and Guts and what?
One of them was, "Holy shit, that was a great promo from Chris Jericho." Absolutely loved that. That was easily the best part of the whole thing. And the second one was, "Oh, look at that. Young Bucks are heel again."
So the Jericho thing, I won't fully disagree with you. I'll tell you where the disconnect was for me. I think it went too inside baseball, too quick, and too often. Like he just spent 5 minutes, or probably a little more than that, being like, "Yeah, and Sean Spears, by the way, the only time that I've ever actually known who you are is when you got fired 10 years ago." And I'm gonna call MJF a mark for himself, but I'm gonna change it. Gonna call him a max for himself. He made a joke that Wardlow has
I
to
think
take
he
off
messed
his
up the
pants.
Wardlow joke.
Oh yeah, because he said it was a
He had a
13-cent
13-cent
body and a
body and a
$30
whatever
brain.
mind, and then it's
Yeah.
about, yeah, it's supposed to be the opposite. It's kind of that
And,
Sid moment, where it's like, I have the brains, you do.
and I know that I have the brains that you do. Uh, but there's that. I didn't like that he was just. It was too inside baseball. Like it seemed like he's trying too hard to be like, I'm cool, and I just it didn't click with me as it probably should have.
I thought that might have been my favorite moment that we've seen in AEW this year.
Yeah, for me this whole year, I guess because Sting was still 2019, right? Or
Yeah, but I
2019,
mean, you can't imagine
2020.
saying what Sting's done this year, where it's every week it's another Tony Schiavone's going to talk to Sting and somebody's going to interrupt. This is like 19 weeks in a row with this or something. Come on,
That is the greatest running gag in the history
God, it's
of
awful. I
wrestling.
hate it.
But and here's another thing, and I'm gonna be real critical about this. Taz called Christian Cage a blue chipper, and I was just laughing. Like when you think blue chipper, you're like, oh, Rock in '96, or Jr. is like, oh, that's blue chipper right there, or like
Like
John Cena
Swagger
in
first comes
'02.
in or something.
Swagger first comes in. 40 plus Christian Cage. Hey, we got a chance to get a real blue chipper in Christian Cage. Like what?
That's like, hey, kid, you can make it in this business.
I just thought that was ridiculous. Young Bucks are heel again. Cool if they stay that way. I'm not totally convinced that they will. I guess we'll see.
Oh, on Monday Night Raw, that was pretty much just, hey, remember WrestleMania is happening.
Yeah, that was kind of SmackDown as well.
Yeah, SmackDown, there's almost nothing to talk about. There's only really
SmackDown
one
was
thing to
literally
talk
the
about.
kickoff show.
Pretty much, yeah.
I did like the Dirty Dogs winning because I think if you're not going to be in front of
Yeah.
people, you might as well just keep it on them.
Yeah, it's kind of, I didn't like it, but I'm glad that they didn't go with the thing that would have upset me more. I don't know how you would really constitute that, because we were talking
Right.
before that that sucks for everybody that they can't be performing in front of the crowd at WrestleMania. And even more so, the idea of if Dominic wins those titles and that kid can't just be, I called him a kid. Oh, I hate when I'm old. Uh, that guy who's not
No,
too
no,
far away from me. It's like,
it applies. It applies.
wait, how old is he again? He's like 20 or something, right?
He's 20, 21, 22,
Yeah, when
23,
you're
right?
over 10 years older than somebody, then you can
Yeah,
call him
they're
kid.
a kid.
Ugh, hate it. When that kid, that little whippersnapper, that blue chipper, can,
There you go. He's a blue chipper. Yes.
if he can't win in front of a crowd, then he shouldn't win the titles right now. They should wait and everything. So Dirty Dogs retaining, even though I don't like the idea that Dirty Dogs are just keeping the belts for some reason. Other than that, I mean, part of me was actually thinking if they win the titles back, Street Profits, if they win the titles back, then I wouldn't be opposed to that. But I definitely didn't want the Mysterios to win in front of nobody.
Yeah, I really didn't want that. So I'm glad that they kept it the way they did.
The only other thing really that happened was we got some
Yeah.
confirmation for WrestleMania, which we talked about on our predictions a little bit. And then we had done our predictions of, who's going to win the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. And it ended up going down to basically the people that we were expecting. There
Damn
was
right. I love that. I
there
thought
was
that was
King
great.
Corbin at the end, Shinsuke Nakamura at the end, and the winner of the whole thing, Jey Uso.
Now I'm doubling down on this, Tony. I want Roman Reigns and Jey Uso to demand that this be called the Yokozuna Memorial Trophy because the Anawai family is the greatest legacy in wrestling. Forget about Andre. I want that.
Who wins in a fight, Yokozuna or the sumo wrestlers from the Man with the Golden Gun?
Well, you see Yokozuna because he's a Samoan, like the first James Bond henchman villain. And I think that it just makes sense if Yokozuna wins.
Also, if you are interested in any kind of wrestling related crossovers with that, check out the You Will Only Live Twice review that we did for the Review to a Kill podcast, because we talk about High Chief Peter Maivia in that.
That's right.
And that is the James Bond series breakdown, what we have over on fanboysanonymous.com. So if you go there, we are currently all the way through recording up to A View to a Kill is in the bag, which sounds kind of confusing. Why do we want A View to a Kill for a Review to a Kill? But it makes sense if you know what the movies are called. But, coming up in a couple days, we're going to do our review for The Living Daylights, and they
The
are released
living
every
daylights.
Friday. So you can catch up with us because we're releasing them. We're recording them in advance, so we're releasing them one at a time. And I think that the most recent one that was uploaded might have been Moonraker, I think, earlier today. So check that out, and that's where you'll understand why we keep saying a woman out of all the times.
Hey, Tony, who's main eventing night one of WrestleMania?
Two women. All the
Yeah.
more reason to believe that Drew McIntyre is opening up tomorrow night.
Oh no, they said it. They already
Oh, they
announced it.
already said that that's a guarantee?
Remember, I tagged you in that tweet. I said I called it. That was the tweet where they announced Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley are opening it. And furthermore, because I called it, Drew McIntyre literally tweeted out, and I'm going to read this tweet verbatim because it's what I've been saying, that he has wanted to be the first guy through the curtain anyway. So he tweeted, "I've said for the last year that I want to be the first person out when crowds return. I can't wait for that noise to hit. I just feel bad for everyone having to follow me and Bobby. We'll set the standard, and you all try and keep up." I told you, like, as soon as Bianca picked Sasha and they said what night it would be, I knew it.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
And I think that it's a smart decision.
And I'm gonna double down even further. The Bell Twins will win the women's tag team
Here's where you,
championship.
you lose at I'm going to go all in. Ah, crap. Gambler's mentality.
Sweetie.
Yeah, Banco. Again, if you have no idea what we're talking about, a Review to a Kill, James Bond stuff. So I like the idea that Jey Uso won this Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal in the sense that it gives him more of a credibility boost because he's been just losing everything for the past couple of months. Ultimately, it still doesn't matter because they don't want it to matter. So this really, it wouldn't shock me if the way that they booked this was, well, why don't we have Uso win? Because that way that can lead to Roman Reigns' entrance. And rather than like actually having it be, who's the guy who wins the important match, because they've proven for 8 years that they don't care. But I don't feel that way. I still feel like this could be something, and I hope that Jey Uso continues to get some kind of momentum going forward.
I think it would matter more if it was the Yokozuna Memorial.
It might.
You know
Maybe,
why?
why is that?
Because Yoko literally weighed more than Andre. So by proxy, it has to mean more because it has more weight. Literally.
What else we gotta talk about? We gotta talk about the Hall of Fame. That was the reason that I wanted to do that one first. I forgot about my own notes. So the Hall of Fame happened. That went down, and it was awkward in many different ways.
So there's elements of this that I hated, and there's elements of this that I loved. How much of it did you actually like?
Not much, to be perfectly honest. I'm glad that they did it. I'm glad that they honored close to the amount of people that they probably would have been honoring if it would have been normal. But I can't honestly say that I really enjoyed watching it because there were many times during this where I was like, you know what, I'd be okay if this just kind of ended.
The one thing I didn't like was Molly Holly having like a 2-minute speech and then WWE putting out the full 10-minute speech from her house.
Oh,
I thought
I didn't
that
even
was
see
very
that.
awkward. Yeah, that was very awkward. Um, I do think that Molly Holly has the most poise and grace in in the entire industry and in that room in particular. She spent her Hall of Fame speech naming the crew members
Yeah.
for WWE. Like, good lord, what an angel!
Yeah. Instead
Ah,
of just the typical, this means so much to me, and you got to have an opponent or whatever. She was just sort of like, I liked hanging out with the crew, and they are these people. Thanks. I'm like,
yeah,
didn't
like
see that
that's
one
so
coming.
cool. That's so good. Um, I enjoyed the Warrior Award stuff, specifically for that Rich Herring guy.
I'm so glad that they put somebody like that into the Hall of Fame.
How touching was that? That you actually like see Vince and Vince's kids being like, "Oh, Uncle Rich, yeah, I'm so happy for you. Thank you." Like, I thought that was the cutest thing.
And the Titus O'Neil induction, of course, was really good. In particular, I really didn't like Ozzy Osbourne being a part of this
Oh man, it broke my heart, bro.
because that not only like, look, the celebrity thing, I'm not going to start harping on that. That's a different story. A lot of people are like, the celebrity wearing should not be a part of it. I don't care as much about that, but it is weird that they just were sort of like, everybody's going to the Hall of Fame. We're doing these two things. By the way, Ozzy Osbourne's in the video package, and people are like, does that mean he's going in? And then they wait until
No,
like
he was on the shirt, and
they
people
that
were
was
like, "Oh,
afterward. Yeah. And then it became like, well, he's on the shirt, so I guess he is. And I think it was like the day before they're like, yeah, and Ozzy Osbourne's in there. So it was just one of those, Zoom call type of things, and him just being like, yeah, I don't deserve this. It's kind of like, well, then shit.
you know what? I think they didn't announce him because of the shit that just happened with Sharon."
What happened with her?
So she'd gotten canceled, let's say, for defending Pierce Morgan, who was in the process of getting canceled for going off about the whole Meghan Markle Prince Harry thing. So
I
I
don't
think
follow any of this garbage. I'm
so
like, the Meghan Markle thing?
I I genuinely think because of that they didn't say Ozzy's going in, but
Huh.
Ozzy looked like shit. I love Ozzy Osbourne. He did not look good. I'm kind of worried about his health now. Uh, I love the bulldog. It made me want to get a bulldog. Like
Bulldog's not my favorite breed at all, but I thought it was funny that
it's like a little sausage. Like I was like, oh my god, it's so cute.
okay, Caroline.
It's. I mean, honestly, she would agree.
She's called Bonnie, a Boston Terrier, little sausage before,
Oh,
so
she
that's
totally because Bonnie too. She's such a little sausage.
I thought it was interesting that only Davy Boy Jr. or Harry, whatever they called him Harry, so maybe he's gonna go back to using the Harry Smith name.
I just
But
think that he was the only one with poise. It was so weird that he's talking to a crowd that wasn't there. You know what I mean?
anytime that anybody did any of that, I thought it was awkward when they're like, waving to nothing, or they're going like, oh, hey, all you people, thanks for what. No, they're not there. It sucks.
No,
And
and that was the worst part of this whole thing was that they would get extra loud with the crowd noise, and I'm like, yo, turn it down. Let them just say what they have to say. Uh, I'd be remiss if I didn't give ourselves another chance to plug fanboys and say, hey, right now they're asking who would win a bar fight between Godzilla and King Kong? And the answer is John Bradshaw Layfield. Like, and it was said with the most wooden, that's from Jerry Lawler, said with the most wooden delivery. I was like, oh, this is awful.
yeah, I didn't understand that at all. That was just such a weird way to go into something else. But JBL had arguably the best speech.
Oh, what did he say at the end? He's like, yeah, I'm sure you want me to apologize for being a bully. Up yours, snowflakes.
Yeah, he had
I was
said something
like,
like, "For anybody who I've wronged and anybody who I've upset in the locker room or elsewhere, I just want to say sincerely, I don't care," or something like that.
you snowflake, I'm
Yeah.
John Bradshaw Layfield. I was like, okay.
I'm like, all right, that's pretty fucking great.
They piped in crowd chants for like wrestling God, and I'm like, no crowd has ever done that ever. So who did you get to make that noise?
That I liked JBL's thing. I liked Kane's speech. I liked, for instance, that he said that his mom had what he thought was the best sign ever of "I raised Kane," which is just like, that's brilliant.
I love
So,
that. I love that.
but almost every aspect of this was awkward, just as it was kind of expected to be, because I mean, you're doing it in front of nobody, so it's going to be awkward. And I think that both of these classes would have been fun in front of people. The
I agree.
JBL thing would have been hilarious in front of people.
Because he would have gotten booed and he'd have been like, fuck you.
Right. Shatner would have been fun in front of people because he would have just been like, hey, I'm William Shatner and
I
whatever.
am William Shatner.
Instead of him
I'm
just
here.
being like, hey, thanks. It's cool.
He's like, I beat up Jerry Lawler. Suck
And
it.
the NWO, they were pretty much just sort of in and out. Scott Hall's like, I got in before, I'm in again. Neat. Oh yeah, you want to move on? Which also makes me kind of wonder. Sean Waltman had said that he did like 20 takes. He said like one word.
Yeah, maybe he just didn't know how to do it.
Maybe, I don't know. But I didn't like the NWO thing as much. Obviously, this would have been better if it
Hogan
would have
was the
been.
worst part of all of this. I'm not even one of those guys that hates Hogan. Hogan was the worst, most uncomfortable part of all of this. Because he's trying to do the let me tell you something, brother shtick, and there's nobody fucking there. And he's like, oh, maniacs, I never lost this thing. I
Yeah.
think, like, come on.
Maybe we should make another run. You're not doing it. Stop.
And Scott Hall, I love Scott Hall to death. I thought he never looked older. I thought he
Nash
looked
was sort of just
Nash.
like another
Nash is
like
fucking
it's cool.
He's just like, hey, we're fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I really wish I could meet Nash at one point. It seems like he would be just like a chill dude, you know?
Yeah, I thought that was great. I liked Waltman's line of, "Hey, look, the NWO means a lot to me because Triple H introducing the 1-2-3 Kid would have sucked, but introducing Six from the NWO was a lot better. And I got to hit you in the head with the chair, Hulk. So thank you. I thought that was good. Um, Bell Twins had a fun speech.
I didn't like their speech. I thought that was so overwritten. Like to be a Shiro and stuff. I hate that crap.
Did you expect anything else?
No, but I still hate it. So
I thought it was great that she thanked John, and I got to even write an article about like a one sentence. She thanked John for showing her fearless side. I was like, all right, that's nice, that's classy. I'm gonna say something you probably won't agree with. This one was better in front of nobody because people would have dragged that out and made it worse.
no, I
And
agree about that. Yeah.
I'm glad that she got to do that respectfully.
Yeah, because
And
people would have been cheering for John Cena.
John Cena sucks.
Yeah. There
You
would have been
know,
like Bell Twins come out and they're like, we'd like to thank a couple people, and somebody would go, let's go Cena.
Cena.
Cena sucks. That would have been.
Yeah, so like I'm glad that they got to do that and be respectful. Um, the line about Johnny Ace being their dad was funny just because it is weird,
Yeah.
that Johnny Ace is their dad. I like that. I definitely think they're gonna be back sooner rather than later. I don't genuinely know if it's this weekend, but I think they will be back. Rob Van Dam, had a lot of fun with him. He just started going off on like, yeah, man, energy and positive
Yeah.
vibes.
He's full blown, just like, this ring's made out of this sort of material, and if you vibrate at this frequency, then quartz is going to be whatever. And I got a crystal in my trunk. It's going to like just kind of.
And I was super down with it. He's just like, yeah, vibes, hell yeah. I don't think I've ever been higher than this, and I would know. I just like RVD popped me. Um, who else got? Bischoff was good. Bischoff could have gotten much longer in front of people.
Bischoff would have been so much better in front of people for sure. Kali was benefited by not being in front of people because people would have
Yeah,
booed and everything, and that would have been disrespectful.
and we saw Dosher Shanky. I told you, the Shankmeister.
And they had the Legacy Award inductees. I don't have anything to say about any of them.
They what two great classes. I thought that those were great.
I
I know you
couldn't tell
wouldn't.
you the names of half of them. Because I'm not into the legacy type of thing. So when they were saying like, say, Baron Michelle Leone, I'm like, never heard it before, as far as I'm aware.
So I'll tell you a little bit about the ones that I can name. Gary Hart, Buzz Sawyer, huge territory guys. Ray Stevens was like one of those people like Ric Flair. would think Ray Stevens is the greatest of all time kind of thing. That's how far back he goes. Dick the Bruiser. That's one of those names. It's like, how do you have a Hall of Fame and not have that guy in there? Paul Bosch started Bruce Pritchard in the industry, if nothing else. So kudos to him. I I liked it. It felt real. They messed up in that Ethel Johnson got inducted and they used footage of another African American wrestler. It's like, yikes.
Hmm. Yeah, the only one that I've ever actually seen anything of is Dr. Death,
Yeah, Dr. Death too, man. Was he for 2021 or 2022?
2020.
Oh,
Nobody was 2022.
uh,
Jumping ahead. Or you could be like Hulk Hogan and you can go back in time and be on the 220.
yeah, right. The T20 awards. They're like, hell
Yeah.
yeah. Ah, God.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't think that this being a 3-hour show in front of nobody was great. It's better that they did it than if they didn't, but at the same time, to be perfectly honest, I didn't really enjoy it, and I had more like interest of like eating my dinner at the time, which wasn't even anything all that special. It was just
what'd you eat?
leftovers,
What'd you eat? Let's hear it.
leftover fried flounder, and some there's a microwavable type of rice thing called bird's eye. It's chicken flavored rice.
I like the continuity because you had said that you were gonna get some flounder. I don't remember if you said it on the air, but you got some flounder, and I'm happy that you did so.
I'm a man of my word. I will always say that.
Um, you know what? Let's have a little fun here, Tony, real quick. Rumors about Becky Lynch at WrestleMania. How do you feel about it?
I number one don't think it's happening, and number two, I don't understand why somebody would pitch the idea that she should shave her head because that's a rumor going around this whole time. Is oh, but she shave her head. Why? Is that the
Who
only
said
idea you
that?
got?
Hold on. Who said that? Where'd you read that?
I don't remember. But point being, if that's something that somebody pitched, then it's probably the same person who keeps pitching the Team PCB type stuff. I don't think that Becky Lynch is popping up at WrestleMania. If she is, I can't imagine where she pops up. Maybe it's just like a backstage thing. Like we get some, I don't know, like Seth Rollins is preparing for his match against Cesaro and Becky's right there and gives him a kiss. But
I okay, so Meltzer reported, don't you love those words? Meltzer reported that uh they want her to do like maybe an impromptu Ding Dong Hello show
hmm.
because they want her to drive the truck because they got a truck for last year
Oh, they want to
and
bring that stupid truck back?
that's what Meltzer said.
I hope that's not the case because that truck was stupid. I'm
So
sorry.
Becky
The truck thing to me was dumb.
so Becky had tweeted night one. It was a great acronym for night one. And I don't think if she shows up now, I'm almost certain it'll be night two just because she's a troll. You know, I I'm all for it. And here's my wild theory for this one. I think Becky shows up, whether it's on Bailey's show or not. I think Ronda shows up, and I think they rock and Cena it and go, "Oh yeah, well fuck it, let's fight next year. Do it in front of people. That way, you already have your draw for Texas, and that's all you need."
I hope that's not the case because I don't want them to just go, remember those two that were in that match before? Do that again because they need to stop doing that with WrestleMania.
I think it works in this case. I think if you're gonna do Becky, like you can't do Becky for the Raw after because do it in front of people, you know.
No, I'm cool with the Ding Dong Hello and Becky Lynch comes out. I'm cool with that.
Maybe she beats the shit out of Bailey or something.
Yeah, I just don't want Ronda and Becky to say we're fighting at Mania next year and take up one of those spots.
That's my theory because I just think it works. Like, and if it does happen, you heard it here first. I said it. All right, I want my flowers if it happens. But you know, I think it's a good way to get Becky on the show. I think Becky is a major draw. She'll get a huge pop. Because remember, she never even said goodbye in front of people.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, so much of this shit just happened, out of nowhere. And Becky didn't say goodbye to people. Um,
It is suspicious that Bailey's not on this card. And you can make the argument all you want that, well, why isn't Shinsuke on the card? Or why isn't the SmackDown tag titles
no,
on the
Bailey
card?
carried the pandemic.
It's a different story when it comes to Bailey. As much as I personally thought that Bailey's title reign lasted way, way too long and wasn't as interesting as everybody else thought that it was, it's, I take myself out of the equation for a personal bias. She did hold that title for 2 years, basically. And she was the primary person that they put that focal point on in the women's division over two brands for the majority of that stretch of the pandemic. So for her to have nothing at all to do at WrestleMania is ridiculous because you could have easily just made her Carmella's tag team partner. And they didn't. They went with Billy Kay. So yeah, it sucks for, Nikki Cross, and it sucks for Mia Yim, and it sucks for Peyton Royce and all the people that aren't performing at WrestleMania. But Bailey seems like they purposely kept her out. And a ding dong hello in front of people.
I
I'm
think
not
that's going to be great.
I'm not super into wasting time at WrestleMania with a talking segment, but if it's going to get Bailey on the card and it does something like brings back Becky Lynch, then you know what? As long as it's not taking up 15, 20 minutes where you end up going, all right, this went on way too long, then do it for 5 minutes. It's not going
Tony,
to kill me.
in front of people going, ding dong, how, like, that's going to be so much fun.
Right.
It's going to be great.
Even if they crap all over it, it'll be funny.
If they do it.
I think it's more likely that Becky Lynch shows up than Ronda Rousey does. And you said that she was tweeting out something that was an acronym for Night One.
Yeah, it was.
So I didn't see that.
It was a ridiculous acronym. Like, it made no sense. But it spells out Night One.
Let me see. It was Becky Lynch Twitter. She did this the other day, was it?
It was today. No, she did it today.
Today? So let me see. Nothing is guaranteed here tonight, only now, eternally. Yeah, okay, so that's Night One. It's like, I mean, she even did it in like a column, so now we could read that as Night One.
I like it.
All right, well then she's popping up a Night One, and she.
I'd be all for her just going on doing tomorrow, waking up and doing one for Night Two. Just like troll, please.
She's like, no, I mean that it's nigh tone.
Yeah, Night Tone.
It's nearly tone. And
you're a Tone, aren't you, Tone?
I'm not nigh though.
You're not.
No. No, it'd be not tone. Then it's a different acronym. But yeah, if she's gonna pop up, then that'd be kind of cool. And
Bailey deserves WrestleMania, maybe even more than Becky Lynch.
She deserves something, that's for sure. So if she gets to do something like that, then that might be kind of fun. And I don't know. I mean, we're gonna get a lot of stuff. I think that obviously that they have planned that we don't know about, that we might have thought that we would have known by now. Like we still don't know what the Nigerian drum fight is.
Oh, I'll tell you later.
We still don't know exactly what their plans are for something like the Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton match, although the rumor going around is that it's going to be a complete squash. And if that's the case, then you're going to hear me go, what the hell was the point in all this and all that?
Well, actually, let's talk about the drum fight, because let's talk about what Fightful Select reported, which is that they don't know.
How do you not know? Like, how do you do 7 matches leading up to a WrestleMania match where you just go, that? Like, just don't.
They Fightful Select reported, and I'll read the report verbatim. Was that hey, they booked the match. Biggie has said it in interviews recently that they're not exactly sure what the Nigerian drum match will be, such as Biggie mentioned in a midweek interview. But as of Wednesday, those involved and in WWE had no idea what a Nigerian drum fight was. It wasn't specified when it was pitched, put forth, or put on television what it was. We were told ideas were even being tossed around as of the tapings that happened on April 1st and 2nd, but by the time those tapings were complete, there was still no plan.
You know what it's going to be, right?
Yeah, nothing.
Yeah, it's going to be a street fight that they happen to have some people dressed up
They're
in
not even
some
gonna
kind
go
of
that far.
royal garb and some drums.
They're not even gonna go that far. There might be like a spear or two, or some like themed weapons, but that's it.
If they can even get that done in time.
If they can even get that done. Otherwise, it's just a Belfast brawl, which was just a street fight with Finley in it. This will just be a street fight with Apollo in it.
Stupid. If that's the case, they need to do something.
Biggie cut a good promo on SmackDown. I was a fan.
Yeah, that made me completely change my tune and say, all right, well, Big E's not winning. I'm not losing.
It actually made me go, huh, maybe he could have fought Roman. I thought it was a great promo. I thought that had nice fire, nice intensity. He is getting played to the ring by Wale. Do you have any thoughts on Wale?
I like the song.
Do you have any thoughts on Ash Costello performing Rhea Ripley to the ring?
Not as big of a fan of the song,
That
but
was another one of those supposed to happen last year.
yeah.
Uh,
Yeah,
so
I've said it before. I'm not big on musical performances in wrestling shows, but if they perform somebody's theme to the ring, then I think that that's okay. But when you just have like Poppy go out and do a song, I don't like that. Or I mean, you're gonna do America the Beautiful, and that's okay, and whatever. I don't even
right.
know who's doing that because I don't know pop culture.
So it's Bebe Reha on night one, which is an actual name that I've heard.
That's
Ashley
Beeb
Craft.
Rexa, right?
Yeah, yeah.
The one that I thought
Ash,
was Mandy Rose at first. I'm like, Mandy Rose is doing this
uh,
song? Like, oh,
you
okay.
know what? Ashlyn Craft, some country chick, is being touted not by WWE, I swear, as the first ever country act to perform at WrestleMania. Not by WWE. Again, People Magazine wrote this. Maybe they were fed it by WWE. I don't know. But there's another first time ever.
Wait, so it's a country singer that's doing Rhea Ripley's theme?
No, it's the country singer that's doing America the Beautiful on night two.
Oh, I thought
Do
you
not
said that
con-
was the one that was doing Ripley.
Yeah, don't confuse Ashlyn Craft with Ash Costello, who will be doing Rhea Ripley's theme on night two.
Okay, because I'm like, wow, if they're going into country, that really doesn't fit Rhea. Like Rhea starts trying to do some mosh and thrasher kind of headbanger stuff, and it's just like kind of like
Hey man, you never know.
got a pickup truck and I'm gonna kick your ass, like kind of a thing.
One more thing I want to talk about because I wrote this article and I want to get your feedback on it. Undertaker, interviewed by Sports Nation, ESPN, said it's weird for him not to be on Mania, and that I'm going to read this quote as it's written. Around October, man, my mind just started going, and I'm like, nope, it's not going to happen this year. You have to come to grips with that. Then in November, when I finally said that was it, I've been good. I'm at peace with my decision. But once the ballyhoo starts for WrestleMania, I'm sure I'm going to be sitting in my chair, rocking back and forth, thinking I should be there. Something's not right, but it's evolution. It's time for me to step aside and let the younger crop of superstars just do their thing and take this thing to the next level. Any thoughts on Undertaker saying he's going to be rocking back and forth in his chair, not being at WrestleMania?
Nothing stops Undertaker from making an appearance.
That's a fair point.
He doesn't have to wrestle. He can just come in to the ring and chokeslam somebody, and people would go nuts. So if
I
you don't do it
think,
this year, do it next year.
and there's another one, you know, you could have done more. He shouldn't have had to retire in front of nobody.
Yeah. Weird year. Weird 2 years. Hopefully not weird 3 years. I don't know how this is going to go. But we got WrestleMania starting tomorrow night. This is a go home time frame. What night are you looking more forward to, and what's your roundabout final thoughts?
Um, so like I think it'd be better as one giant show, if only because there's enough meh on both nights that it's hard to pick one night that I'm looking forward to. I think overall, I'm gonna say night one would probably be more exciting because the people are gonna be amped because they haven't been in front of people in a
Bingo.
long time.
It's exactly what I'm thinking. Night one's going to be more entertaining.
Yeah. That being said, I think overall I'm looking forward to the Universal title match the most.
I think the one thing I'm looking forward to the most is hearing the first pop.
It's gonna be so weird. I've been thinking of that a lot. It's gonna be weird.
If you can even hear it, because remember the acoustics.
Oh, you're gonna hear it. It's gonna
Depends on
be
how loud those
they
cardboard
might not
cutouts are.
hear it. They might not hear it. We're gonna hear it.
You think they're going to have supplanted extra sound effects just in case?
Yep.
I hope not. Just, this is awesome. This is indeed awesome.
You know what? And it's gonna sound like I'm being fucked up. I'm not. I want them to be brutally honest
Yeah.
in the coming months with their overall state and mental health, because that's gonna suck. Dude, they're doing 2 nights in front of people and then they gotta go back into the Thunderdome. That's gotta suck for them.
It's
I
still better
hope.
that they're doing it, though, than if they weren't. Well, depending on how things work out. If we end up getting like some big outbreak, then it'll be like, oh, you shouldn't have done it. You know.
Yeah. So far, so good. Hope it stays that way.
Hopefully. And of course, when those things go down, live coverage on smarkoutmoment.com and the live post show immediately following after as soon as we possibly can. Trying to get it up as soon as we like go off the air, essentially. But, you know, sometimes we got to take a couple minutes to double check about the sound and to go through some of those checks and everything just in case.
Are you admitting publicly on the air that you have problems getting it up?
I did say that weird, didn't I? The show must go on. Well, that is happening Saturday and Sunday. Then we're going to roll on to the insanity of the Raw after WrestleMania and the first start of NXT on Tuesdays, the old NXT Tuesday things. And the game plan for right now is kind of up in the air as far as what you guys are going to be hearing from us for the main event for next week. It's going to be in some fashion the Smark Madness tournament recap, but there's also the mailbag. Although I might even wait a little bit for that. I don't really know. I'm going to try to figure that out sometime by like Monday or so. And if you have any suggestions, let me know in the comments below as well. And we're going to just kind of keep things rolling. So if you want to hear more from us, stay tuned, subscribe, follow everything, wait for the live shows, click back on older episodes if you really are getting, if you really want to hear our voices. We got plenty of episodes you can listen to, almost 500 of just the hot tags, let alone all the other kind of things. So, yeah, other than that, that's nothing else that I feel like talking about for the hot tags. Anything else you can think of?
Nope, that's it for us.
All right, so my plugs are pretty much out of the way, except for just a reminder again to check out everything that I've got going on at Tony Mango on Twitter and Facebook, because I got the freelance stuff as well. You'll see some articles on EWN and on Bleacher Report and everything else, and Fanboys Anonymous and Smark Out Moment. As long as you're following those things, you'll know when those things go up. Remember about those contests? Vote on Smark Madness, and check out what Rob's got going on as well.
Yeah, because I won't be here. I have not been on the post shows, and I won't be on the ones for WrestleMania because I'll be over at Fightful.com. And I do advise that you watch these guys first, and then come over and see what I'm doing because, like, let's be real. You're gonna hear what I have to say at some point anyway. Watch these guys first. And yeah, follow me on Twitter, dude, please. See, I'm diplomatic.
I want to say something about diplomatic immunity, but I don't know. I can't think of anything. My brain's too fried. And yeah, we will continue on with everything. And we hope that you enjoy the rest of WrestleMania week. We hope you enjoy WrestleMania weekend. And and I hope that I can get out the rest of that sentence without choking.
Jesus, you're giving out our us already.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, we will see you when we see you, everybody, for this edition. At the very least, this has been another Smark Out moment. We're being counted out.